Hello everyone, today we will read the chapter 3 from the book India Physical Environment, textbook NCERT for class 11, Drainage System, chapter 3. So let's get started. You have observed water flowing through the rivers, nalas and even channels during rainy season, which drain the excess water. Had this channel not been there, large-scale flooding would have occurred. Wherever channels are ill-defined or choked, flooding is a common phenomenon. The flow of water through well-defined channels is known as drainage, and the network of such channels is called the drainage system. The drainage pattern of an area is the outcome of the geological time period, nature and structure of rocks, topography, slope, amount of water flowing and the periodicity of the flow. Do you have a river near your village or city? Have you ever been there for boating or bathing? Is it perennial or ephemeral and dry? Otherwise, do you know that rivers flow in the same direction? You have studied about slopes in the other two textbooks of geography NCERT in this class. Can you then explain the reason for water flowing from one direction to the other? Why do rivers originating from the Himalayas in the northern India and Western Ghat in the southern India flow towards the east and discharge their waters in the Bay of Bengal? A river drains the water collected from a specific area which is called its catchment area. An area drained by a river and its tributaries is called drainage basin. The boundary line separating one drainage basin from the other is known as watershed. The catchment of large rivers are called river basins, while those of small rivulets and rills are often referred to as watersheds. There is, however, a slight difference between a river basin and a watershed. Watersheds are small in area while the basins cover larger areas. Important drainage pattern. The drainage pattern resembling the branches of tree is known as dendritic, the examples of which are the rivers of northern plain. When the rivers originate from a hill and flow in all directions, the drainage pattern is known as radial. The rivers originating from the Amarkantak range present a good example of it. When the primary tributaries of rivers flow parallel to each other and the secondary tributaries join them at right angles, the pattern is known as Trellis. When the rivers discharge their waters from all directions in a lake or depression, the pattern is known as centripetal. Next, river basins and watershed are marked by unity. What happens in one part of the basin or watershed directly affects the other parts and the unit as a whole. That is why they are accepted as the most appropriate micro, meso or macro planning regions. Indian drainage system may be divided on various bases. On the basis of discharge of water or orientation to the sea, it may be grouped into the Arabian Sea drainage and the Bay of Bengal drainage. They are separated from each other through the Delhi Ridge. The Aravalli and Sahyadri water divides is shown by a line. Nearly 77% of the drainage are consisting of the Ganga and Brahmaputra and Mahanadi, Krishna, is oriented towards the Bay of Bengal, and 23% comprising the Indus, Narmada, Tapi and Mahi and Periyar systems discharge their waters in the Arabian Sea. On the basis of the size of watershed, the drainage basins of India are grouped into three categories. Major river basins with more than 20,000 square kilometer of catchment area. It includes 14 drainage basins such as the Ganga, Brahmaputra, Krishna, Tapi, Narmada, Mahi, the Pennar, the Sabarmati, Barak, etc. The medium river basins with catchment area between 2,000 to 20,000 square kilometer, incorporating 44 river basins such as Kalindi, the Periyar, the Meghna, etc. Minor river basins with catchment area of less than 2,000 square kilometer include fairly good number of rivers flowing in the area of low rainfall. If you look at the figure 3.1, you can see that many rivers have their source in the Himalayas and discharge their waters either in Bay of Bengal or in the Arabian Sea. Identify these rivers of North India. Large rivers flowing on the peninsular plateau have their origin in the Western Ghats and discharge their waters in the Bay of Bengal. Identify these rivers of the southern India. The Narmada and the Tapi are two large rivers which are exceptions. They, along with many small rivers, discharge their waters in the Arabian Sea. Name these rivers of the western coastal region from the Konkan to Malabar coast. On the basis of the mode of origin, nature and characteristics, the Indian drainage may also be classified into Himalayan drainage and peninsular drainage. Although it has the problem of including the Chambal, the Betwa, the Son, etc., which are much older in age and origin than other rivers that have their origin in the Himalayas. It is the most accepted basis of classification, hence the scheme has been followed in this book. Drainage systems of India. Indian drainage system consists of a large number of small and big rivers. It is the outcome of evolutionary process of the three major physiographic units and the nature and characteristics of precipitation. The Himalayan drainage. The Himalayan drainage system has evolved through a long geological history. It mainly includes the Ganga, the Indus and the Brahmaputra river basins. Since these are fed both by melting of snow and precipitation, rivers of this system are perennial. These rivers pass through the giant gorges carved out by the erosional activity carried on simultaneously with the uplift of the Himalayas. Besides deep gorges, these rivers also form V-shaped valleys, rapids and waterfalls in their mountainous course. While entering the plains, they form depositional features like flat valleys, oxbow lakes, floodplains, braided channels and deltas near the river mouth. In the Himalayan reaches, the course of these rivers is highly tortuous, but over the plains they display a strong meandering tendency and shift their courses frequently. River Kosi, also known as the sorrow of Bihar, has been notorious for frequently changing its course. The Kosi brings huge quantity of sediments from its upper reaches and deposits in the plains. The course gets blocked and consequently the river changes its course. Why does the Kosi river bring such huge quantity of sediments from the upper reaches? Do you think that the discharge of the water in the rivers in general and the Kosi in particular remains the same, or does it fluctuate? When does the river course receive the maximum quantity of water? What are the positive and negative effects of flooding? Next point is evolution of the Himalayan drainage. There are difference of opinion about the evolution of the Himalayan rivers. However, geologists believe that a mighty river called Shivalik or Indo-Brahma traversed the entire longitudinal extent of the Himalaya from Assam to Punjab and onwards to Sindh, and finally discharged into the Gulf of Sindh near Lower Punjab during the Miocene period some 5 to 24 million years ago. The remarkable continuity of the Shivalik and its lacustrine origin and alluvial deposits consisting of sands, silt, clay, boulders and conglomerates support this viewpoint. It is opined that in due course of time, Indo-Brahma river was dismembered into three main drainage systems: the Indus and its 5 tributaries in the western part, the Ganga and its Himalayan tributaries in the central part, and the stretch of the Brahmaputra in Assam and its Himalayan tributaries in the eastern part. Thus, the dismemberment was probably due to Pleistocene upheaval in the western Himalayas, including uplift of Potwar Plateau or Delhi Ridge, which acted as the water divide between the Indus and Ganga drainage systems. Likewise, the downthrusting of Malda Gap area between the Rajmahal Hills and the Meghalaya Plateau during the mid-Pleistocene period diverted the Ganga and Brahmaputra systems to flow towards the Bay of Bengal. The river systems of the Himalayan drainage. The Himalayan drainage consists of several river systems, but the following are the major river systems. The Indus system. It is one of the largest river basins of the world, covering an area of 11,65,000 square kilometer. In India, it is 3,21,289 square kilometer and a total length of 2,880 kilometer. In India, 1,114 kilometer. The Indus, also known as the Sindhu, is the westernmost of Himalayan rivers in India. It originates from a glacier near Bokharchu and in the Tibetan region, and altitude of 4,164 meter in the Kailash mountain range. In Tibet, it is known as Singhi Khamban or lion's mouth. After flowing in the northwest direction between the Ladakh and Jaskar ranges, it passes to Ladakh and Baltistan. It cuts across the Ladakh range, forming a spectacular gorge near the Gilgit in Ladakh. It enters into Pakistan near Chilaz in the Dardistan region. Find out the area known as Dardistan. The Indus receives a number of Himalayan tributaries such as Sayok, Gilgit, Jaskar, Hunza, Nubra, Shikhar, and the Gasting and Dras. It finally emerges out of the hills near Attok, where it receives the Kabul River on its right bank. The other important tributaries joining the right bank of Indus are Khurram, Tochi, Gomal, Bhiboa and Sangar. They all originate in the Suleiman ranges. The river flows southward and receives Panjnad a little above Maithankot. The Panjnad is the name given to the 5 rivers of Punjab, namely Satluj, Beas, Ravi, the Chenab and the Jhelum. It finally discharges into the Arabian Sea east of Karachi. The Indus flow in India through Union territories of Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir. The Jhelum, an important tributary of Indus, rises from a spring at Kaveri situated at the foot of the Pir Panjal in the southeastern part of the valley of Kashmir. It flows through Srinagar and the Ular Lake before entering Pakistan through a deep narrow gorge. It joins the Chenab near Dihang in Pakistan. The Chenab is the largest tributary of the Indus. It is formed by two streams, the Chandra and the Bhaga, which join at Tandi near Kelong in Himachal Pradesh. Hence, it is also known as Chandrabhaga. The river flows for 1180 km before entering into Pakistan. The Ravi is another important tributary of Indus. It rises west of the Rohtang Pass in the Kullu hills of Himachal Pradesh and flows through the Chamba valley of the state before entering Pakistan and joining the Chenab near Sarai Sindhu. It drains the area lying between the southeastern part of Pir Panjal and the Dhauladhar ranges. The Bias is another important tributary of the Indus, originating from the Bias Kund near Rohtang Pass at the elevation of 4000 meter above the mean sea level. The river flows through the Kullu valley and forms gorges at the Kati and Largi in Dhauladhar range. It enters the Punjab plains where it meets the Satluj near Harike. The Satluj originates in the Rakshastal near Mansarovar at an altitude of 4555 meter in Tibet, where it is known as Langchen Khamban. It flows almost parallel to the Indus for about 400 km before entering India and comes out of a gorge at Rupar. It passes through the Shipki La on Himalayan ranges and enters the Punjab plains. It is an antecedent river. It is a very important tributary as it feeds the canal system of Bhakra Nangal project, the Ganga system. The Ganga is the most important river of India, both the point of view of its basin and cultural significance. It rises in the Gangotri glacier near the Gaumukh, 3900 meter in the Uttarakasi district of Uttarakhand. Here it is known as Bhagirathi. It cuts through the central and the lesser Himalayas in narrow gorges. At Devprayag, the Bhagirathi meets the Alkananda. Hereafter it is known as Ganga. The Alkananda has its source in the Satopanth glacier above Badrinath. The Alkananda consists of Dhauli and Vishnu Ganga, which meet at Josimath or Vishnuprayag. The other tributaries of Alkananda, such as the Pindar, joins it at Karnaprayag, while Mandakini or Kali Ganga meets it at Rudraprayag. The Ganga enters the plains at Haridwar, from where it flows first to the south, then to the southeast and east before splitting into two distributaries, namely the Bhagirathi and the Padma. The river has a length of 2525 km. It is shared by Uttarakhand 110 km, Uttar Pradesh 1400. It is shared by Uttarakhand 110 kilometers and Uttar Pradesh 1450 km, in Bihar 445 km and in West Bengal 520 km. The Ganga basin covers about 8.6 lakh square kilometer in India alone. Do you know Namami Ganga program is an integrated conservation mission approved as flagship program by the Union government in June 2014, which the twin objectives of effective abatement of pollution, conservation and rejuvenation of the national river Ganga Main pillars of the Namami Gange program are sewerage treatment infrastructure, river front development, river surface cleaning, biodiversity, afforestation, public awareness, industrial effluent monitoring, Ganga Gram. The Ganga river system is the largest in India, having a number of perennial and non-perennial rivers originating in the Himalayas in the north and the peninsula in the south respectively. The Son is its major right bank tributary. The important left bank tributaries are the Ramganga, Gomti, Ghaghara, Gandak, Kosi and the Mahanadi. The river finally discharges itself into Bay of Bengal near Sagar Island. The Yamuna, the westernmost and the longest tributary of Ganga, has its source in Yamunotri Glacier on the western slope of Banderpunch Range at 6,316 meters. It joins the Ganga at Prayag or Allahabad. It is joined by the Chambal, the Sindh, the Betwa and the Ken on its right bank, which originates from the peninsular plateau, while the Hindan, Rindh, Sengar, Varuna etc. join it on its left bank. Much of its water feeds the western and eastern Yamuna and Agra canals for irrigation purposes. The Chambal rises near the Mahi in the Malwa plateau of Madhya Pradesh and flows northward through a gorge upwards of Kota in Rajasthan, where the Gandhi Sagar Dam has been constructed. From Kota, it traverses down to Bundi, Sawai Madhopur and Dholpur and finally joins the Yamuna. The Chambal is famous for badland topography called the Chambal ravines. The Gandak comprises two streams, namely Kali Gandak and Trishul Ganga. It rises in the Nepal Himalayas between the Dholagiri and Mount Everest and drains the central part of Nepal. It enters the Ganga plain in Champaran district of Bihar and joins the Ganga at Sonpur near Patna. The Ghaghara originates the glacier of Machachungo. After collecting the waters of its tributaries Tila, Seti, Beri, it comes out of the mountain, cutting a deep gorge at the Shishapani. The river Sarda, Kali or Kali Ganga joins the plain before it finally meets the Ganga at Chhapra. The Koshi is an antecedent river which with its source north of Mount Everest in Tibet, where its main stream Arun rises. After crossing the central Himalayas in the Nepal, it is joined by the Son Kosi from the west and the Tamur Kosi from the east. It forms Sapt Kosi after uniting with the river Arun. The Ram Ganga is comparatively a small river rising in the Garhwal hills near Dakshin. It changes its course to the southwest direction after crossing the Shivalik and enters into the plains of Uttar Pradesh near Nazibabad. Finally, it joins the Ganga near Kanauj. The Damodar occupies the eastern margins of the Chotanagpur plateaus, where it flows through a rift valley and finally joins the Hooghly. The Barakar is its main tributary. Once known as the Sorrow of Bengal, the Damodar has been now tamed by the Damodar Valley Corporation, a multi-purpose project. The Sarda or Saryu river rises in the Milam Glacier in the Nepal Himalayas, where it is known as the Gori Ganga. Along the Indo-Nepal border, it is called Kali or Chouk, where it joins the Ghaghara. The Mahanadi is another important tributary of Ganga rising in the Darjeeling Hills. It joins the Ganga at its left bank tributary in West Bengal. The Son is a large south bank tributary of the Ganga, originated Amarkantak Plateau after forming a series of waterfalls. At the edge of the plateau, it reaches Ara, west of Patna, to join the Ganga. The Brahmaputra system. The Brahmaputra, one of the largest rivers of the world, has its origin in the Chemayungdong glacier of the Kailas range near Mansarovar Lake. From here, it traverses eastward longitudinally for a distance of nearly 1200 km in a dry and flat region of southern Tibet, where it is known as the Tsangpo, which means the purifier. The Rangpo Tsangpo is the major right bank tributary of this river in Tibet. It emerges as a turbulent and dynamic river after carving out a deep gorge in the central Himalayas near the Namcha Barwa at the height of 7,755 meters. The river emerges from the foothill under the name of Siang or Dihang. It enters India west of Sadia town in Arunachal Pradesh. Flowing southwest, it receives its main left bank tributaries Dibang or Sikang and Lohit, thereafter known as the Brahmaputra. The Brahmaputra receives numerous tributaries in its 750 km long journey through the Assam Valley. Its major left bank tributaries are Budhi, Dihang and Dhansiri, whereas the important right bank tributaries are the Subansiri, Kameng, Manas, Sankos. The Subansiri, which has its origin in Tibet, is an antecedent river. The Brahmaputra enters into Bangladesh near Dhubri and flows southward. In Bangladesh, the Tista joins it on its right bank, from where the river known as Jamuna. It finally merges with the river Padma, which falls in the Bay of Bengal. The Brahmaputra is well known for floods, channel shifting and bank erosion. This is due to the fact that most of its tributaries are large and bring large quantity of sediments owing to heavy rainfall in its catchment area. The peninsular drainage system. The peninsular drainage system is older than the Himalayan one. This is evident from the broad, largely graded shallow valleys and the maturity of the rivers. The Western Ghats running close to the western coast act as the water divide between the major peninsular rivers, discharging their water in the Bay of Bengal, and as small rivulets joining the Arabian Sea. Most of the major peninsular rivers except Narmada and Tapi flow from west to east. The Chambal, Sindh, the Betwa, Ken, Son, originating in the northern part of the peninsula, belong to Ganga river system. The other major rivers of the peninsular drainage are the Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. Peninsular rivers are characterized by fixed course, absence of meanders, and non-perennial flow of water. The Narmada and the Tapi, which flow through the Rift Valley, are, however, exceptions. The evolution of peninsular drainage system. Three major geological events in the distant past have shaped the present drainage systems of peninsular India. Subsidence of the western flank of the peninsula, leading to its submergence below the sea during the early tertiary period. Generally, it has disturbed the symmetrical plan of the river on either side of the original watershed. upheaval of Himalayas when the northern flank of the peninsular block was subjected to subsidence and the consequent trough faulting. The Narmada and the Tapi flow through faults and fill the original cracks with their detritus materials. Hence, there is a lack of alluvial and deltaic deposits in these rivers. Slight tilting of the peninsular block from northwest to the southeastern direction gave orientation to the entire drainage system towards the Bay of Bengal during the same period. River systems of the peninsular drainage. There are a large number of rivers in the peninsular drainage. A brief account of the major peninsular rivers system is given below. The Mahanadi rises near Sihawa in the Raipur district of Chhattisgarh and runs through Odisha to discharge its water into Bay of Bengal. It is 851 km long and its catchment area spreads over 1.42 lakh square kilometer. Some navigation is carried on in the lower course of this river. 53% of the drainage basin of this river lies in the Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, while 47% lies in Orissa. The Godavari is the largest peninsular river system. It is also known as the Dakshin Ganga. It rises in the Nasik district of Maharashtra and discharges its water into Bay of Bengal. Its tributaries run through the states of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. It is 1465 km long with a catchment area spreading over 3.13 lakh square kilometer. 49% of this lies in the Maharashtra and 20% in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh and rest in Andhra Pradesh. The Penganga, Indravati, Pranhita, Manjira are its principal tributaries. The Godavari is subjected to heavy floods in its lower reaches to the south of Polavaram, where it forms a picturesque gorge. It is navigable only in the deltaic stretch. The river after Rajamundri splits into several branches forming a large delta. The Krishna is the second largest east flowing peninsular river which rises near Mahabaleshwar in Sahyadri. Its total length is 1401 km. The Koyna, the Tungabhadra and Bhima are its major tributaries. Of the total catchment area of Krishna, 27% lies in Maharashtra, 44% in Karnataka and 29% in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. The Kaveri rises in the Brahmagiri hills and 1341 meter in Kogadu district in Karnataka. Its length is 800 km and it drains an area of 81,155 square kilometer. Since the upper catchment area receives rainfall during the southwest monsoon season and the lower part during northeastern monsoon season, the river carries water throughout the year with comparatively less fluctuation than the other peninsular rivers. About 3% of the Kaveri basin falls in Kerala, 41% in Karnataka and 56% in Tamil Nadu. Its important tributaries are Kabini, Bhabini, Amaravati. The Narmada originates on the western flank of Amarkantak Plateau at a height of about 1057 meter, flowing in a rift valley between the Satpura in the south and Vindhyan in the north. It forms a picturesque gorge in marble rocks and a Dhuandhar waterfall near Jabalpur. After flowing a distance of about 1312 km, it meets the Arabian Sea south of Bharuch, forming a broad 27 km long estuary. Its catchment area is about 98,796 square kilometer. The Sardar Sarovar project has been constructed on this river. The Tapi is another important westward flowing river. It originates from the Multa in the Betul district of Madhya Pradesh. It is 724 km long and drains an area of 65,145 square kilometer. Nearly 79% of its basin lies in Maharashtra, 15% in Madhya Pradesh and remaining 6% in Gujarat. Luni is the largest river system of Rajasthan west of Aravalli. It originates near the Pushkar in the two branches, the Saraswati and the Sabarmati, which join with each other at Govindgarh. From here, the river comes out of Aravalli and known as Luni. It flows towards the west till Telwara and then takes a southwest direction to join the run of Kutch. The entire river system is ephemeral. Next and the last point is extent of usability of river water. The rivers of India carry huge volumes of water per year, but it is unevenly distributed both in time and space. There are perennial rivers carrying water throughout the year, while non-perennial rivers have very little water during the dry season. During the rainy season, much of the water is wasted in the floods and flows down to the sea. Similarly, when there is a flood in one part of the country, the other area suffers from drought. Why does this happen? It is the problem of availability of water resource or that of its management. Can you suggest some measures to mitigate the problems of floods and droughts simultaneously occurring in different parts of the country? Can these problems be solved or minimized by transferring the surplus water from one basin to the water deficit basin? Do we have some schemes or of interbasin linkage? Teachers may explain the following examples: Periyar Diversion Scheme, Indira Gandhi Canal Project, Karnul Kudappa Canal, Bias Satluj Link Canal, Ganga Kaveri Link Canal. Have you read in the newspaper about the linking of rivers? Do you think that digging a canal is enough to transfer water from the Ganga basin to the Peninsular River? What is the major problem? Consult chapters 2 of this book and find out the difficulties posed by the unevenness of the terrain. How can the water be lifted from the plain area to the plateau area? Is there sufficient surplus water in the North Indian rivers which can be transferred on a regular basis? Organize a debate on the whole issue and prepare a write-up. How do you rank the following problems in using river water? No availability in sufficient quantity, river water pollution, load of silt in the river water, uneven seasonal flow of water. River water disputes between states, shrinking of channels due to extension of settlements towards the Thalweg. Why are the rivers polluted? Have you seen the dirty waters of cities entering into the rivers? Where do the industrial affluents and the wastes get disposed of? Most of the cremation grounds on the banks of rivers and the dead bodies are sometimes thrown in the river. On the occasion of some festivals, the flowers and statues are immersed in the river. Large scale bathing and washing of clothes also pollute the river waters. How can the rivers be made pollution free? Have you read about the Ganga Action Plan or about a campaign for cleaning the Yamuna at Delhi? Collect materials on schemes for making rivers pollution free and organize the materials in a write-up. Thank you for listening. This is for today. Thank you.